subscribe.
It was only a matter of months before the pair of them would been found on the pavement somewhere or other.
The first I knew about it, funnily enough, was from the newspaper the next morning. My husband said, the Krays have been arrested. I said, oh, they've been arrested before. You know, why is it on front page of like 4 or 5 newspapers? He said, no, this is very serious. They've been arrested for murder.
What are you going to do now that it's all over?
I like to have a bit of family life now, you know. I intend to get married in the near future. I did before this case, but it's put back over the case, and just get married as soon as possible, you know.
Ronald, what are you going to do now?
Well, I'd like to go abroad for a short while, and then I'd like to be left alone.
I was surrounded by police officers in unmarked police cars. Must have been about 15 of them.
They appeared out of nowhere and swooped on me, and guns and stuff like pointing at you and your head and all that, and arrested me and took me to Tintagel House.
Nipper Reid was sitting behind a big desk, but behind Nipper Reid on a board was all the photographs of the firm, everybody, and associates. And he was very polite, very amicable, and he said, look, I know you weren't involved. He said, but tell us about it. We'd been that long on remand, it was almost a relief when it started. And we were all in one van, it was just us. And the van would go from Brixton to Wandsworth, or Wandsworth to Brixton, and then to the Old Bailey. Motorcycle outriders, helicopter. This was like a trial that nobody'd ever seen before.
It was a great stage for them. The one thing that people, I think, underestimate about both Ron and Reg Kray was they were geniuses at public relations. They were good at presenting themselves in court as gangsters. It's what they were, and they were proud of it.
As they came up, I thought, oh my God, you are still thinking you're on show, which they always like to be. You're still playing to an audience. Hey, look at me. You know, we might be in the Old Bailey, but we're going to get off this.
They just kept rolling over one after the other, you know. Nothing surprised me at all once they started rolling over. Then a lot of them did, you know. They had about 30 statements inside a few weeks.
The very romantic idea that certainly Ronnie had about the underworld, and you don't grass and you don't inform, all this was thrown out of the window.
They were invincible. They were totally invincible. And I had my doubts until the barmaid got in the dock.
Worst thing happened, the barmaid. Once that barmaid walked into that court, and I looked at the twins, and they were shocked.
This young girl spoke like an angel, and you could not fail to listen and be moved by the things she said. You could tell this was a girl that was speaking the truth.
And of course she was perfect, because she immediately said, that's the man, that's Ronnie Kray.
You're living beyond hope that you're going to walk, you're going to get her not guilty. But when that barmaid gave her evidence, there's that slow sinking feeling that kind of goes through you, and that's the thing that's condemned you. You're looking at endless years, you can't even begin to see the end of it. And then you think, where my loyalties lie, what am I going to say to my daughter?
It does, at first sight, appear to be quite a harsh sentence, and I think there's quite a well-identifiable reason for that. These two were challenging the establishment, and the state wanted to stamp that out and say, hang on a minute, we're not going to tolerate this kind of behaviour. And they were held up almost as an example for others to not, you know, get involved in this kind of thing, because this is what would happen to you.
We went up with an escort of all Jaguar squad cars, about 6, tailing us up, and on every flyover there was coppers on the top of the flyovers, like with the walkie-talkies and that, and it was mad, it was.
The prison system at the time was coming back from a period in which it had really been ridiculed and made fun of because of all the escapes that had happened in the previous decade. It wanted to kind of assert its power and its authority. So there would have been a lot of anxiety around receiving these two.
We were classed as the worst of the criminal element in prison. So we were all kind of double category A. So instead of having us, you know, in amongst the general population, they got these special units.
Your category A prisoners would go to a prison within a prison, essentially, where it was felt that they would be able to be contained and there'd be less of a risk to the public and other prisoners.
And they called it the submarine because it had low ceilings and they reinforced all the cells and bars in the window. You couldn't see the daylight coming through the windows, and the doors had so many locks and bolts on them you wouldn't believe.
Well, when you're first given it, it's just numbers. You walk in that cell and you've got your bare cell equipment in there and you're looking at a concrete tomb and it don't hit you the first night. It don't hit you. You're just banged up. And then you think, I've got this for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 30 years.
It's just complete boredom, you know. When you live in that close proximity, there was more rows and fights in there than there was in a wing with 300 prisoners. But he'd never come out and mix with anybody. But yeah, he really is in his own little world, you know, his own shell.
Thanks to the efforts of their mother, Violet, the twins were reunited when Ronnie was transferred to Reggie's prison, Parkhurst on the Isle of Wight, known as the British Alcatraz.
You'd have IRA terrorists in there. Some bad child killers who nobody would speak to. People who were just very violent, and people who were notorious, like Ronnie and Reggie Kray.
You live a day at a time. You don't serve a prison sentence. You survive a prison sentence. So all this myth about the Krays, you know, tough guys, they was the same as any other prisoner in there.
As for Ronnie and Reggie, their new life had no discernible end in sight.
The joke used to be in prison, if someone got lifed off with a recommendation, they go, when's he getting out? We go, the Tuesday after the Krays, right? That was the joke in prison. In other words, they ain't coming out.
Was it worth it? Where is the money now? Where is the glamour now? Where is the excitement now?
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section.